Hello and welcome to the Philippines. This is a tricycle ride we're taking from Pacific Cebu Resort in Mactan Island to Grand Mall, which is Gaisano Grand Mall. And the four of us, it's going to cost us 150 pesos. Taxis you'll find. There's some resorts where there's lots of taxis around on Mactan Island. The popular higher end ones. Other resorts that are kind of remote and off on down their own little road, like Pacific Cebu Resort, have fewer taxis come in there. It's usually just when somebody's coming in to stay there. So we walked a little ways out to the main road, and there were, I think, about 3 tricycles sitting out there. And 150 pesos is reasonable, $3 US, higher than it would normally be, but it's supply and demand. There's not a lot of traffic out there. These guys sit there just waiting for somebody to come out of the, needing a ride from the resort, pretty much. Mactan Island is a completely different personality, character than the Cebu City, Mandaue City area. Much more laid back over here. You can tell we'll go up onto a busier street here down the road here a bit, but it just seems like quieter, less traffic. Quieter until somebody starts up their karaoke machine anyway. There are a number of apartments and condominiums down these different roads, and one day I'll get over there and try to do a little more video about those types of things, but a person just has to get on a motorbike or taxi and just start going down the roads and stop when you find something that looks interesting, or ask people. You will probably want to consider how close you are to a shopping area and the cost to get to that shopping area back and forth. Now, these tricycles don't cost that much. You will find that taxis don't want to go into some of the remote areas because very difficult for them to get a ride going back out of those areas. And sometimes they'll ask you for a little extra. A flat rate, which you don't have to accept, but that will happen. The first taxi I found to come over here in the morning, in fact, in Cebu City, I got in and he asked me how much I was willing to pay him to bring me over here. And I gave him a reasonable price. And he said that no, he wasn't interested in coming over here, and I didn't want to press it. I got out. The very next taxi that came by ended up being a very knowledgeable, very friendly guy, and actually glad that I got that guy. I think the first guy had limited English skills probably, and I was going to be picking up a couple more people along the way, so giving a taxi driver directions to where I'm going to meet these people by the when a Filipina says, "Meet me by the tree close to where the jeepneys park." And then I have to try to explain that to a taxi driver. If they don't understand very much English, it can get to be a little tricky. There seems to be sari stores, little stores. Here's another apartment complex off to the left there. I don't know anything about that. Lots of little stores where you can get snacks and sodas and water. They're generally water delivery services where you can get your 5-gallon jugs delivered to you in all these different areas. This trip was a rather quick one-day trip. I picked up my friends about 9 in the morning, and they wanted to get back across the bridge by about 3 in the afternoon. So we decided to go to the Pacific Cebu Resort, and one reason we wanted to get across the bridge is because that bridge, rush hour traffic that starts a little bit after 3, many days, it can take you an hour to get across that bridge. I've met a number of expats, foreigners that live on Mactan Island, across the bridge from Cebu City, and they generally spend most of their time, their homebodies, or they spend most of their time on Mactan Island. If you were going to be a person that wanted to travel, spend a lot of time across the bridge in Cebu City, Mandaue City, it would probably be okay if you weren't traveling during a rush hour in the morning and in the later afternoon. Traffic, it can be a bear getting across the 2 bridges. Now they have started to build a 3rd bridge, which is going to come in from the SM, close to the SM Seaside Mall. It's going to start over there and come over to the south side of Mactan Island in the Cordova area. And I think that's still a good 3 years off, 4 years off before that's going to be completed. School coming up here on the left, and apparently they were just getting out because there are school children everywhere. Walking, and lots of tricycles waiting to pick them up. It seems to me, from my observation, that rents for houses and apartments, condominiums, are generally less on Mactan Island than they are over in Cebu City. But there again, unless you want to live over there, and it's a good-sized city. There's several malls over there, a number of smaller malls, and they aren't nearly as big as Ayala or SM Mall, but they have most of what you would need over there. And the expats that I know, they might make a trip a month over into Cebu City and get things that they can't find on the island. And here's another school here. You will find that if you have Filipino or Filipina friends who work, that they often work 6 days a week, and they get 1 day off. So you end up taking day trips. And that's what this was. Everyone that I took along with me, the 3 girls, they had time off and coordinated on a particular day. This place on the left, Sultana, I think it's called. Yeah, Sultana. I've seen some workers in there again. That seemed to be on hold for a while, and that's a condominium project. And I'm not sure exactly what's happening with that. But anyway, back to the topic of day trips. You end up taking a lot of day trips. If there's a holiday and they get 2 days off, you end up spending a half a day going someplace, out to a province, taking a ferry or a bus someplace, a V-hire, a van, and half a day back, and about a day visiting a resort or family, those types of things. So that's something you got to get used to. Very few people have 2-day weekends, 2 days off consecutively. Once we got to Gaisano Grand Mall down here, we grabbed a taxi, and there was quite a few taxis there. So we grabbed a taxi and dropped one of the girls off on Mactan Island, closer to the bridge where she lived. And then we went across the bridge, and then probably a little ways into the Mandaue City, and dropped the other 2 girls off there. I took the taxi home, and in the end, the whole trip cost me a little over 5,000 pesos for the day trip over there, with the cost at the resort, the taxi over, the taxi back, and this tricycle driver. So I spent just like 107 US dollars, and it was a fun time. And I budget about $100 a month to do something. Some months I don't do anything like this. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, please share the video, please subscribe. Safe travels to you all, wherever you're at, and we'll see you next time. This is Grand Mall, Gaisano, right off to the left here. And that is one of the pools at Pacific Cebu Resort, which I've done a different video about.